Dundrod in Northern Ireland is officially once again the fastest road racing circuit in the world. Peter Hickman smashed the superbike lap record.
Peter Hickman across the line. Oh, and there it is. It's a new lap record, and he smashed it. He smashed it by 2 seconds.
It was breathtaking and record-breaking. The Englishman then made it 2 wins out of 2 after a Supersport thriller, beating Lee Johnston.
Here we go. Oh, there we go. My, he's through again. Nicky's back in front.
Then a Hickman hat-trick after a Superstock masterclass.
And that is showboating from Peter Hickman.
And another Supersport victory made it 4 for the British Superbike star.
Nicky right out to the edge. And Hickman does it again. That's win number 4.
Welcome to the third highlights programme from this year's Fonacab Ulster Grand Prix. This truly has been an unforgettable event so far. It will go down in history after that sensational lap by Peter Hickman. He set another new benchmark in the sport, and there's lots more sensational road racing in this show. Here's what's coming up. There are 4 more races, including 2 Superbike showdowns, another Super Twins Classic, and a stunning Supersport duel at Dundrod. Next is the second Superbike race. Peter Hickman has been in sensational form, unstoppable and unbeatable so far, with 4 victories, just 1 win away from the record, which is 5 in a single Ulster Grand Prix. And that was achieved by Philip McCallan. Michael Dunlop has opted to sit out of the racing because of his injuries. But who in this race can challenge Hickman's dominance? Dean Harrison held the lap record until this year, so he can't be discounted. Lee Johnston's another who could take the fight to Hickman, but 600s are more his thing than thousands.
Few people missing from this grid as the race gets underway. Dean Harrison gets the start he wants. Peter Hickman got left behind there, Dave.
Yeah, momentarily though, Richard, as it's Dean Harrison who leads them along the flying kilo on this opening lap. Dean Harrison from Peter Hickman, Connor Cummins in 3rd, David Johnson 4th, Davey Todd 5th, Derek Shields in 6th, Michael Sweeney was in there as well. But it is Dean Harrison who leads them through Rock Bends and down to Leatham's Town.
We're on board with Connor Cummins now, looking at the leading pair. He wants to be one of them.
He's got to stay with them. Here's the start again. This is from Davey Todd. Row 4, only 1 machine on row 3. That was Brian McCormack, who we're just going past now. A cracking start for Davey Todd from row 4. He exploited the space.
But Harrison still has it from Hickman, with Connor Cummins right behind them in tow. Then there's a little bit of a gap back to the rest of the pack, and they are still a pack, aren't they?
They are. But this is what Dean Harrison needed, and it's also what Connor Cummins needed as well, and he really is going for it. He's trying to go up the inside of Peter Hickman, but no, just has to hold off for the turn.
I think there was nowhere to go, because you could see Dean Harrison closing off that gap, and there was just no way through for Connor Cummins, but he's still got the draft, and he might still try again.
This is the type of track that Dean Harrison told me he hates. Half dry, half wet. He'd rather one or the other.
None of the riders like it like this, looking for the damp patches and the dry patches and trying to guess where the grip is.
So through Jordan's Cross on this opening lap, it's still Dean Harrison from Peter Hickman and Connor Cummins. It's a 3-way fight.
But look at the fight behind. I mean, there's still, what, 6, 7 people in that bunch?
Now, look who is just in front of us now. Not there, but just ahead is Lee Johnston. Not a great start from him, but he's having to make up again for a poor start by his standards. Derek Shields in 4th place. He's working his way towards Connor Cummins.
They're all closing up on the back end of this group. I wonder if Dean Harrison is slightly slower than Peter Hickman's pace.
Again, I think no, it's the accordion effect at the Lindsay hairpin. The top 3 look like they're being caught by the 5 guys behind, but then when they go on the exit from the Lindsay hairpin, that opens up again, and Peter Hickman looking very menacing as far as Dean Harrison is concerned. Derek Shields, though, to be fair, is catching Connor Cummins.
Hickman riding in Dean Harrison's wheel tracks, looking either side, looking for a toe and looking for a gap. You just don't want to look behind you, do you? Close your eyes, don't look round.
Now then, this is what Peter Hickman was after, coming out of Dawson's, getting in the slipstream of Dean Harrison. Has he timed this right to make the move? Oh, Dean Harrison. Oh, the thing is, Hickman is on the left-hand side of the road as they look, and he will take the lead, and Dean Harrison will not be able to make his way back into the #1 position. Great move, classic move at Dundrod from Peter Hickman.
I'll tell you what, it's taken the wind out of Dean Harrison's sails. Connor Cummins almost snapped him up as well.
But the thing is, though, Richard, there was nothing Dean Harrison could do about that. As soon as Peter Hickman is on his tail, coming out of Dawson's, onto the start finish for the Flying Kilo.
Connor Cummins still thinks he's in with a shout, and I think he might be.
Oh, he's through to 2nd place. I was going to say that Dean Harrison could do exactly the same to Peter Hickman coming out of Dawson's, but he's not going to be close enough at this rate. It would be Connor Cummins' turn to have a go at that. Derek Shields is still in there. Lee Johnston is also in 6th place, just behind Davey Todd.
But I don't think if you had Lee Johnston, you'd be disappointed with your Ulster Grand Prix week, because he's been in everything, hasn't he?
Totally.
Right up there at the front.
But he's, on occasion, he's been late arriving.
So, yes, and this is one of those occasions, but he has now made his appearance, and he is definitely drawing up. Those two, I think, might be slowing each other up a bit.
And this track as well, Richard, is drying each lap. Every time we come round, there are more and more dry patches and less wet ones.
It's improving to a fully dry racetrack. We're still on wet races, which doesn't mean you've got to choose wet tyres, but it does mean you're not allowed to stop for them except in your own race time.
So we have another battle on the roads involving Dean Harrison, Connor Cummins, Peter Hickman to an extent, although he is around 4 or 5 seconds ahead of these two.
This is a little bit closer, isn't it? Just nudging along there, almost in reach, almost got a toe. Has it?
Oh, the backslide there from Dean Harrison out of Dawson's as he came on. Now he does like the right-hand side of the road, as we talked about before, and he's gone through. But can Connor hit back now? Collar tucks in. Oh, he's not close enough. It's going to be Dean Harrison second.
She should have to shut the door on him. He was on the wrong side. We keep seeing this left-hand side is where you need to be, on the inside of that corner. And I don't think... Well, he was going so fast, but I don't think he moved over decisively enough on Connor Cummins. But on the other hand, this is road racing. It's a wet track, and polite people don't do that sort of thing, do they?
So a question mark on this final lap as to who will take 2nd place. We're assuming Peter Hickman is going to rack up yet another win at the Ulster Grand Prix.
I've assumed it. I think a lot of people around this circuit have assumed it, haven't they?
So Tonagruff then for Peter Hickman, just a Lindsay hairpin for him to negotiate, and then the run down towards the checkered flag. Dean Harrison should be able to defend 2nd place from Connor Cummins. Lee Johnston not quite able to get in amongst the podium positions. But here comes Peter Hickman on the back wheel, front wheel going up. He's acknowledging the support he's had from the fans along the trackside today. He comes to take the checkered flag. Another victory for Peter Hickman, and boy, he enjoyed that one, as we all did.
Yes, he's definitely happy with that result, and if you can never be happy with second, Dean Harrison will be. Connor on the podium, Lee Johnston just off it, Davey Todd, another strong 5th place finish.
I followed Dean for that first lap, and there's so much spray off the bike in front. Whenever you go with the wet stuff, it's really hard to see. And I felt like I had more grip through the wet stuff especially than what he did, so I decided on lap 2, let's have a go, see if I can break them again, and obviously managed to do that and get away a little bit, and then just manage the gap from there really. But no, ecstatic, over the moon, and yeah, thanks to everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant, you know, five Ulster Grand Prix in this 2019 Ulster Grand Prix so far is, yeah, phenomenal.
Peter Hickman now moves into 5th overall in the Metzler King of the Road standings, but it's Derek Shields still leading the way, with Dean Harrison now 2nd. So another top step for Hickman. Coming up next, it's the Super Twins. The Super Twins are next. Paul Jordan won a thriller in the first one. He'll be looking for a repeat performance. Lee Johnston has unfinished business, having failed to finish race 1. Jamie Coward is another of the favourites and starts on the front row. He took third place in the first Super Twin race behind Joe Loughlin, who will be looking to go one better this time.
It's a packed grid, no spaces on the first 5 rows.
Heads down and away we go. This is the second Super Twin race of the week.
And away Joe Loughlin doesn't go. My goodness, he really has been passed by 5 or 6 machines. He's fighting back now as Paul Jordan sets the pace along the flying kilo.
Christian Elkin alongside him might be setting a quicker one.
Joe Loughlin and Ian Locker were either side of Jamie Coward. It looks like they were going to both swoop past him, but Jamie Coward, I think, managed to pull the trigger on those two.
Looking at the back end of Lee Johnston.
Yeah, well, that's a good start from Lee Johnston. He's in behind Paul Jordan as they go down to Leathamstown, but it's Christian Elkin who's setting the pace.
He got a great start, Christian Elkin. He wasn't away first, as you said, but he soon managed to get a little toe and out he went. Lee Johnston now wanting to get on with this, looking back at it from Paul Jordan.
Looking to put the disappointment of Thursday behind.
Yes.
Surprised to see him on the grid because after that bike went pop.
Well, I'll tell you what, this means
Paul
that
Jordan.
He's going to miss a race later because he'll have done his quota.
Oh!
Joe Loughlin.
Joe Loughlin, sorry to interrupt you, says Joe Loughlin. Yes,
Goodness me, where did he come from?
I don't know. Here we are on board. This is the answer we are looking for.
Lee Johnston was not expecting that, was he? Any more than we were.
Exactly.
Whoosh. Well, that was the slipstream at work, wasn't it?
Oh, Loughlin leads. Loughlin leads. So it shows really, again, we've said this before at the Ulster Grand Prix, you don't necessarily have to have the best of starts, you just have to be with the pack along the flying kilo. And Joe Loughlin is proof of that. Joey's windmill, Loughlin from Elkin.
And he is flying away. Oh, Christian Elkin's actually staying with him, isn't he? Look, this was the pass under the trees. He just came out of the shadows and nipped past Christian Elkin before he was ready. I think Christian Elkin might have been expecting that further up. Here's first and second, and Elkin didn't catch Joe Loughlin out of the hairpin all through Dawson's. And now Lee Johnston just starting to drop back a little bit, isn't he, from that battle?
Yes, he is.
But he's obviously had an engine change since Thursday.
4 seconds behind the first two, and here comes Ian Locker on Paul Jordan. No.
Maybe.
Perhaps. Possibly. Watch this space.
He's banging on the tank, isn't he, Locker? So get on with it.
Exactly. But no, Paul Jordan, just a little bit too much speed for him. Oh, he's attacking Elkin, carrying plenty of speed. He's going to try and set up for a pass at Jordan's cross, or is he going? No, you don't pass at the windmill.
Sit down and behave.
Yes.
Right, up behind him now, though. This is it. As you said, Jordan's cross, this is what he set himself up for. And Joe Loughlin just moved over a little bit too late, and now Elkin closes that door on him and says, have that.
Yes, but there's still a possibility that Loughlin could hit him back on the run-up to Wheelers, but not looking close enough, even though... Oh, Locker goes through on Jordan into Joey's windmill.
It's out of his corner. So... this is just going on and on, isn't it? Elkin wants to make the break. Elkin wants to get away now and just stop the toe so that that pattern can't come breezing past him on the flying kilo. But I don't think he has.
Here comes Loughlin. Here comes Joe Loughlin, left-hand side of the track. Uses the slipstream. However, he's moved so soon that it could be vulnerable to retaliation from Elkin. Elkin now will try, but I think he's got him. Loughlin has it.
Elkin just wasn't in the slipstream to get the toe, and then he had to
he's
prepare
wrong side
for the
of the road
corner.
as well.
Yeah, it was all wrong after Loughlin went through, and Ian Locker's going to do it again, isn't he?
No, Jordan's got it. Paul Jordan has it on Locker, but we're back with Loughlin. And here is Elkin. Great speed.
Oh, look at the drive. He got out of that corner and he just went breezing past. He knows where the pattern's vulnerable, but he can't do anything about this, can he?
He knows where the pattern is strong.
It's another one of those races where whoever gets out of the hairpin first and best is going to win the race, aren't they?
Lee Johnston still in third place. Jamie Coward is still holding fourth.
And Joe Loughlin now looking at an empty racetrack again, but for how much longer? Front wheels going a little bit light there, and this is Locker out of the slipstream.
Clear road ahead for Joe Loughlin, but not anymore. Christian Elkin says, hello, remember me? You saw me about 30 seconds ago.
Oh dear, here we go again then. And Elkin, I think that was a good pass by Elkin, because look, he's got a gap now. And he may well just be far enough in front of Joe Loughlin.
This is pattern. Well,
yeah,
I don't know. This is pattern territory now, though, isn't it? It's fairly fast up through this bit. Well, it's fast everywhere, but certainly straighter fast up through this bit is the point we're making.
Oh, there you are.
Right on cue.
Straight through.
But
Elkin's still with him.
Still with him.
What happens when they come out of the trees? No, it's still Loughlin.
There is going to be more of this all the way to the checkered flag. Elkin trying to pull out of the slipstream. This is the move at Jordan's Cross.
Just classic. Oh, Elkin moved on him, didn't he?
There was no room at all for Joe Loughlin, and that's one of those moments when it's instinct that just takes you through.
Yeah.
You don't back off and think, oh, I can't make this, or that looks a bit tricky. Instinct pushes you through. Now watch the pattern on the exit.
Yes, look, see, that was slow. He fumbled that hairpin, and Christian Elkin is going to go past him.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the pattern can get up to speed quickly enough.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Elkin from Loughlin, but for how long?
These two are racing. This is proper stuff, you know.
Again, how many times have we seen that this week? Whether it's Hickman and Johnston, or whether it was Loughlin and Jordan in the first Super Twin race, and now Loughlin and Elkin. Oh, traffic up ahead.
Oh, this could be tricky for Christian Elkin. Which way? There are no blue flags in this sport, and now he's blocked.
He's been balked. He's been balked, and so too Joe Loughlin. But Joe Loughlin goes through. Christian Elkin takes the checkered flag. Oh. Now is that a victory pump? Yes, it is. I thought maybe perhaps he might have been angry at the rider in front of him, but Christian Elkin.
Well, that was as close as it's ever likely to be. What's that gap? 0.07 of a second.
700ths of a second.
Lee Johnston was indeed third, and Jamie Coward fourth.
His bike seems really, at the first gear seat, and his seems really tall, so I knew I could, if he ran a little bit deeper, I could get the switch back. I knew and then if I could keep alongside him, because there weren't much on acceleration in the two bikes, I knew if I kept alongside him, I could block past him into the next right before the flow bog, and it worked out perfect.
All smiles on the Super Twins podium. Coming up next, it's the third and final Supersport race of the Ulster Grand Prix, as Hickman goes looking for win number 6. Next up at the Ulster Grand Prix, it's another Supersport race. Peter Hickman's in pole position again. Will Lee Johnston be able to get the better of his rival this time?
Are we about to see another Peter Hickman-Lee Johnston duel in the Supersport class?
Davey Todd might have something to say about that.
Possibly. Oh, and Lee Johnston again, not the greatest of starts. Davey Todd has got a lot to say at the moment because he's poured into first place. Peter Hickman is following. Lee Johnston's recovering well. In fact, Lee Johnston is recovering superbly.
The slipstream does work a little trick along here as they run down towards that big stop and right turn at Leathamstown. But it wasn't the best start again. It's in his head now, isn't it?
Maybe. We're on board with Connor Cummins, just in behind Jamie Coward. This is into Leathamstown for the very first time. We've had one amazing Supersport race already here at the Ulster Grand Prix this week. We could be on, and conditions are certainly more favourable than they were in the earlier Supersport race.
Yes. On board with Lee Johnston, and this is that slipstream toe we were talking about. Look, it gets the draft and just fires him past both the riders in front of him. And if anybody knows how to put the pressure on, Peter Hickman is that man. But look, it's a train. There's no single rider making the break. We still have a freight train of 600. There was a puff there from Peter Hickman's bike, wasn't there?
I thought it was Jamie Coward. It looked like it was Jamie Coward.
He's looking down at the tank. He's got a problem on that motorcycle. He's definitely got a problem. Let's have a look at that again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fuel tank. I thought it was the exhaust of Jamie Coward, but it was
something on Peter Hickman's bike has given him a problem. briefly.
A water pipe or something? I don't know, but whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be affecting him at the moment. He's still in pursuit of Lee Johnston.
It's definitely not broken now, is it?
No.
Whatever it is.
Well, we could be on for a repeat of that fantastic race on Thursday night between these two.
Let's fingers crossed for that, because Lee Johnston's in the lead. Peter Hickman's tucked in behind him, and when Peter Hickman's in your slipstream and the flying kilos ahead, you want to move over to the other side of the racetrack and stop him from doing that.
Here comes Hickman. He's got him. Fantastic move by Peter Hickman on Lee Johnston. There was a tenth of a second behind them over the line. Here's Dominic Herbertson and Xavier Denis.
But look at this, Hickman and Johnston.
My goodness me, looking at each other at over 160 miles an hour along the flying kilo. And I will still say that that last lap on Thursday night was arguably the greatest lap we've seen at the Ulster Grand Prix.
Best racing for a long time here, although we've had a pretty good day of it here, haven't we?
Yes, and who would have predicted that we'd have got so many races in at the start of today? Oh, that was close on the exit from Peter Hickman.
He does like it. That's Dom Herbertson with Xavier Denis still in his wheel tracks. And Xavier Denis having a great Ulster Grand Prix. Peter Hickman's having a better one. I'll tell you what, Lee Johnston's having a great Ulster Grand Prix as well. He'll be pleased with what he's been doing this week.
I think so. I think Peter Hickman's having the ultimate Grand Prix, isn't he? But this battle is raging on further behind. Davey Todd and Jamie Coward. And Lee Johnston's gone through again. It's Thursday night once more.
Oh dear, oh dear. Connor Cummins in the draft gets a good view, but he hasn't got a big enough toe to go with them.
No, so he's still in fifth position. That's Jamie Coward ahead, and that's the moment Davey Todd well up into third place.
That's how close they are. So there's a little gap there between second and third. And these two, even though they're slugging it out together, are pulling away from the rest. Davey Todd might be thinking, I need to get on with this and join in.
Michael Sweeney, we just saw in the picture, has lost a little bit of ground to those three. But here we are, Lindsay Hairpin.
Nice and steady. Lee Johnston, nice and tidy. Peter Hickman, consummate circuit racer as well, nice and tidy as well.
Yeah, Lee Johnston, it's not just Peter Hickman who's been going well on the short circuits in the British Championship this year. Lee Johnston has had some fantastic performances and results as well, and it's showing here and paying off at Dundrod. We're going to see Peter Hickman appear in this picture.
I think we might do. Peter Hickman would like to appear in it. Little 600's getting a bit of a battering. Hickman, of course, 675 Triumph triple. But they are being shaken around on this circuit as these two are wringing the necks of these bikes.
And here goes Hickman again. It's the same manoeuvre he did before. He's close enough. He's going to pull out the slipstream. Are we going to see them look at each other once more? No, he's not. Oh, my goodness. He might try again, but I don't know if he's close enough to make the move stick here.
He is, but Lee Johnston has got it covered. Lee Johnston covered him better that time, didn't he? Had the right side of the circuit, or rather the left side of the circuit.
Lee Johnston wasn't going to be fooled again.
No, but Peter Hickman's done that move on so many people this week that you think they'd all be blocking that. As Xavier Denis, is he going to get past Dom Herbertson here? I think he might do. Yes, he has.
This is for 7th position.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, Lee Johnston, how much speed do you want to carry?
He is quick in corners, isn't he, Lee Johnston? He needs to be, because look who's behind him.
Yes, it is the little and large show. And we have this pack of three. And Coward, perhaps he was thinking about Todd, but it's really rare to see a move through that section of the Dundrod circuit. Michael Sweeney all on his own.
Yeah, he looked pretty lonely there, didn't he? He was right in the thick of it earlier on, but dropping back now as this little struggle. There's little races going on all around the circuit. If you're a spectator who stayed for this, then you'll be very pleased that you braved the rain, because what a reward this has been.
I think quite a few have. I think there's quite a few have stayed for this, and they should have done, because again it's been another one of those days at the Ulster Grand Prix.
Yep, when the track's dry enough to go racing, it is just dry enough to race rather than to ride around really quickly. We have seen wall-to-wall racing, haven't we, or hedge-to-hedge racing.
Exactly. So this one then, Peter Hickman thinking, what next? We're all thinking what next as well. Surely not a move here up out of Jordan's Cross.
Yeah, go on, Hickey. Lee's got it covered, but Hickey running outside under the trees. He's not the first person to do that, but Lee doesn't want to know.
He had a little wiggle. There are quite a few bumps for them to hit at Jordan's. Here's this battle for 7th further back. Herbertson still ahead of Denis. Sound great, absolutely sound great.
The track's quite empty. A few people have...
Oh, Jamie
what's
Coward,
that?
don't look round.
Did he have a problem there? Or did he just wonder where Connor was going?
It wasn't, yeah, he kind of sat up a little bit, didn't he?
No, he obviously hasn't got a problem. Well, that was strange, wasn't it?
The only problem he has... Lee Johnston putting on the style.
Hickey just threatened to do the up the inside there, and Lee Johnston had to back it into the Lindsay hairpin. Now he might not have the exit he needed. He might be in trouble now.
And talking of in trouble, could be Jamie Coward, the filling in the Malenko Paget's Honda sandwich. But Lee Johnston, we saw there making himself as big as possible by sliding
not
it
easy
in.
for Lee, not easy. But I think he might not have had the drive out, but he's managed to stay in front of Hickey. But Hickey's right behind him, and this is where he'll want to strike again if he can.
Yep, classic manoeuvre. So Lee Johnston, no, keep saying it. Will we see him in this picture?
Keep left, Lee, keep left. No, keep left.
Oh, I think
Hickey's
he's got
there.
him. I think Hickman's got him this time. He has. Oh, and another look over again. But Peter Hickman is through on Lee Johnston. I wonder if they were sticking tongues out of one another, or even maybe a cheeky wink from Peter Hickman.
Yes, well, yes, let's just leave that one there, shall we, just in case. But Lee Johnston now firmly second by the look of it.
Yeah, it would be great. I know. Oh, that's the move again.
Yeah, that's just so slick, isn't it? And so fast. No defence against that.
Tom Whedon, yeah, and Joe Lachlan. So then, Jamie Coward in 3rd place, Davey Todd in 4th, and Connor Cummins in 5th, or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Look at that. Jamie Coward getting squeezed there. Davey Todd getting squeezed as well.
Jamie Coward has just gone from 3rd to 5th in the blink of an eye.
Connor Cummins has leapt forwards. So Connor Cummins is bang on it. Look at that. That's breathtaking, isn't it?
And on the Deers leap as well. Not for the faint-hearted. Michael Sweeney just out of the picture. He's in 6th position.
Lee Johnston very much in the picture and very much on Peter Hickman's case. Is this a move?
Here it comes. Yes, Lee Johnston again past Peter Hickman. Incredible racing at the Ulster Grand Prix yet again. And these two have been the stars of the show, haven't they?
Absolutely. We were expecting this to be the Hickey and Harrison show, but it's turning out to be, especially in the 600s, to be Hickey and Lee Johnston. Dean Harrison slightly off the boil from what we normally expect.
Here comes Hickman. Here comes Hickman. Man, oh man, over Jordan's Cross. You can see the bikes bucking and weaving beneath them. But no, Hickman will have to just hold back a moment.
Davey Todd has got past Connor Cummins, and that's the slipstream working for him as well.
It is. So then a replay of that move. We're on board with Connor Cummins. Here comes Davey Todd. Right on cue.
It's very firm, isn't it, up there? You've got to be very decisive when you do that so that everybody knows what's happening.
Richard, Davey Todd wants a podium. He's not had one so far. Connor Cummins has had a few. He wants one.
Don't look, Dave. They're doing it again.
Yes. Again, it's another classic manoeuvre. Hickman decides to go early this time. He keeps having to look over. Lee Johnston this time, eyes focused out front.
Oh, Hickey did it anyway.
Just in time.
Oh, that was very late, wasn't it? And Hickey just eked in through there. But Lee Johnston, you're right, didn't want to look over, did he?
No, he didn't. He knew what was coming.
Peter Hickman and that 675 Triumph back in the lead. Can he stay there, or will that battle continue? Will Davey Todd be able to hold off Connor Cummins?
That's a big ask. Jamie Coward as well would look... Well, we would all love to see Jamie Coward grab a podium as well. Certainly in one of the bigger bike classes.
But you're right, it'd be nice to see Davey Todd on the podium in this race. It's
just to share them about.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see the young ones coming on, isn't it? And he's definitely young and definitely coming on. Lee Johnston, I don't think, is coming on strong at the moment.
Yeah, but there's plenty of time left in this race, Richard. This is far from over.
Oh.
Not far to go, though. That's the only thing. Lee Johnston is going to have to do something about Peter Hickman as they come out of Joey's Windmill, up over the bumps at Jordan's Cross. There's the first one. And Davey Todd still holding on to 3rd, ahead of Connor Cummins and Jamie Coward in 5th.
That's closed up, isn't it? They're all three together again now, and they're right in the ditches.
Johnston right in the slipstream of Peter Hickman. That's the top part of the course, out of Wheelers, down to Tornegruff, then onto the Lindsay hairpin. We saw Lee Johnston before. No, it's still Hickman. It's still Hickman. Johnston had a little think about it, but he knew he couldn't pull it off. And then the bike protesting under the brakes, and we're back with this battle as well. Everywhere you look, something's happening.
That was so close there. Lee Johnston was... you don't often see 600s having their neck wrung like that. He's riding out of his skin to try... Oh, Peter Hickman's riding out of his skin as well. Peter Hickman went very wide there, gave Lee Johnston a sniff of this.
Yes, here comes Lee Johnston, right on the tail of Peter Hickman, but where can he get him? Where can Lee Johnston make the move on Peter Hickman? I think he's running out of road. He's running out of time. And Peter Hickman looks as if he's going to chalk up another victory at the Ulster Grand Prix.
Lee Johnston not close enough to close the gap here. Hickman round the right-hander with Lee Johnston 3 bike lengths behind him.
Oh, Johnston's on the...
Oh, up the inside!
No, it's Hickman. It is Hickman. I don't know whether that's going to be closer than the 3/10 it was on Thursday night.
That was nice, wasn't it? That handshake, that was lovely.
And here's Connor Cummins on Davy Todd. Davy Todd is going to take 3rd place. Oh, he's drifting wide. He's drifting wide. It could be Connor Cummins. Oh, I can't call that one. Oh, it's come up as Connor Cummins. Connor Cummins, 3rd from Davy Todd.
I think Davy Todd probably wasn't expecting that one, was he? That took him by surprise, but it put Connor Cummins on the podium again. Peter Hickman and Lee Johnston, a great race. I know they both enjoyed that one.
Yeah, he certainly made us work for that one. It was a fantastic race, actually. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed riding with Lee. You know, he can be nice and close, elbow to elbow, and know that you're dead safe. So, fantastic race for us. K2 Trooper Triumph, really going well. Handle's so good. It's just lacking a little bit of top speed, but other than that, the bike's absolutely fantastic. Boys have done a great job.
That's 6 out of 6 for Peter Hickman. Next, he has the chance to make it 7 in the final race of the Ulster Grand Prix, the Superbikes. It's the final race of the day at the Ulster Grand Prix as Peter Hickman goes in search of a clean sweep of victories. He's poised to make it the magnificent 7. And the Superbikes are all set and ready to go.
Clear the grid. Get ready for the final race of the day here at the Ulster Grand Prix, and it's Dean Harrison streaking away from the start with Peter Hickman slotting into 2nd place.
But for how long? Peter Hickman in behind Dean Harrison along the flying kilo. Hickman up the inside, and Dean Harrison, he'll be shaking his head and going, oh no, not again, Peter Hickman.
Well, it's almost like a formality now, isn't it, that Peter Hickman inevitably gets to the front somewhere before Leathamstown.
And inevitably that we see Connor Cummins in 3rd place, tucked in just behind Hickman and Harrison. A good start for Davy Todd, 2nd wave away. No Lee Johnston in this race, by the way. He's filled his quota of 5 races. Peter Hickman right out to the hedge at Joey's Windmill. Oh my goodness me, that was close.
He did open the throttle another little notch, didn't he?
Here we can look at this again, Richard. Everything looks fine there. Just to the edge, but in control.
You can see, you watch Dean Harrison, he's a neat, tidy rider, but that bike's moving around quite a lot as he tries his very best to do what Peter Hickman's doing. And this little rivalry renews again. Brian McCormack goes past Derek Shields.
Michael Sweeney was in the picture there as well.
And Sweeney and Shields have had a few little battles here today, and I think we're setting this race up for another one of those. And I think we are setting it up for another Peter Hickman win as well. Shields and McCormack doesn't want to let go, comes out of the slipstream. Is he going to get him back? Yes, he is.
Nice and neat from Derek Shields. McCormack won't be able to retaliate. He'll have to back off as they hit the top here and head down Deer's Leap. And here is the man pulling further and further away from Dean Harrison. Connor Cummins still in 3rd place, and a big gap back to 4th, a massive gap back to 4th. Davy Todd and David Johnson.
Hickman is making the break. That's what he wants to do. He plans to lead every lap just in case there's a stoppage and a race declared early on.
It shows, sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was going to say, it shows how fast they're going, because even at the end of lap 1, there was only a second between them. It looks like 3 seconds to the naked eye, doesn't it? You think it's that, but it's not. They're going at such a speed, and that's why perhaps they close up as they do at the Lindsay Hairpin. And here comes Michael Sweeney now taking Brian McCormack.
Just watching Hickey through the Lindsay Hairpin and see that back wheel snatch as he gassed it up. You know he's trying, even though he's making it look easy.
But they say you have to, don't you? As soon as you start backing off and taking it easy, that is when you start making mistakes.
Was it here Ivan Linton lost his first Super Tin victory because he forgot he was leading?
Yes,
slowed down.
Right. 3 laps completed then. Peter Hickman from Dean Harrison and Conor Cummins. That gap has now increased to 2.2 seconds between Hickman and Harrison. And then just under 2 seconds from Harrison to Cummins.
And Conor Cummins, of course, we're talking about records here, and Peter Hickman's superb lap record, but underlining the fact that this is the fastest road race in the world. Conor Cummins clocked 202 miles an hour through the speed trap on that Paget's Honda.
There was a 10-second gap back from Cummins to Davy Todd in 4th place, with David Johnson still battling away with him. And then a little gap back to these guys, Shields, Coward, Sweeney and McCormack.
McCormack sort of got shuffled to the back of that, hasn't he?
Oh, superb. Peter Hickman, look at that. Unreal. Poetry in motion. So too Cummins and Dean Harrison. And here is that battle between Davy Todd and David Johnson.
They are close, aren't they? That might just be occupying a little bit of their attention and stopping them from riding the perfect lap every time. And that's what you've got to do when you're chasing someone like Hickman. He's doing that out front, picking his lines, picking his turn-in point, picking his braking point. He's doing it all exactly the way he wants to, and that's why he's always a little bit faster than everybody else, because he can ride it how he wants to.
He just has those few extra tenths per timing sector over Dean Harrison, and when you add them up, it starts stretching out, and that gap becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It's amazing how small those margins are between the timing sectors, but when you put them all together...
Yeah, the cumulative effect is Peter Hickman winning by 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds. We've seen smaller, we've seen some really, really close finishes here today, but we've seen some that have been nicely spread out. The weather has had an effect on the racing, there's no two ways about it, but it hasn't taken the temperature out of it, has it?
No, it may seem an odd thing to say in the fact that he's won everything that he's ridden so far at the Ulster Grand Prix this week, but this is Peter Hickman's class, superbike. This is what he does for a living, week in, week out.
Yeah, this is Hickey's day job, as it is. It's also interesting to know, we were talking about records just now, he could well be on his way to an unofficial record. Philip McCallan holds the record for the most wins in a week and a day here, and Peter Hickman, if he stays where he is just going to blow that one out of the water as well.
Well, maybe not blow it out of the water, but certainly for the wins in a day, he's going to equal that one, isn't he? But it's different days. In those days as well, Philip had more races to ride in. Peter hasn't had that. So it's to compare them. Yes, we can compare them, and we can't compare them in certain ways, can't we?
Yeah, the rules mean he can never win more than 5 in a day, but he could win 5 in a day more than once as this carries on.
Now, and this, this is 6th place as Sweeney goes through. Derek Shields is mud proper, but this is their battle for 1st place between these 4 riders.
Absolutely, got to be.
Yeah, they know they won't catch Davy Todd or David Johnson at this part of the race, but they are having a 4-way scrap, and they are having a fight. They will want to come, each rider will want to be on top of that quartet.
Yep, and yes, then they're going to carry on. They've got another lap to do it in.
Where is Michael Sweeney getting this from? And Jamie Coward is getting pulled back, both machines. Is Sweeney going to do them both? I don't know. Jamie Coward as well. Very bold, superb from Coward. I thought Coward was going to be the guy that would be the 3rd machine into this.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that was very brave of Derek Shields as well. I thought, back off here, Derek. But he's going to go again, isn't he?
I can understand why we go with this. As Brian McCormack says, I want to join in as well.
He was at the front of this group, then he was at the back, now he's in the middle of it, and they're still slugging away. These two are still at it, Davy Todd and David Johnson. Still at that order, though, so Davy Todd getting the best of it.
They're around 2-3 seconds a lap down on the guys in front of him.
It's not being off the pace, is it? It's just not being able to match those immaculate lines of Peter Hickman and not having that...
my goodness! Yes, that was a little bit too close for comfort.
Dean Harrison is riding his heart out behind in second place, but as you can see, the gap is pegged at about 4 seconds.
It was 3.3 at the end of the previous lap, and I think it's probably just out to 4 seconds now.
Yeah, so there's nothing he can do about it except put a brave face on. Oh,
Johnson's having a go at Todd.
He's looking for lines, but Davey Todd is using all of this racetrack, isn't he, to try and keep him behind.
Is being absolutely on the button here.
Yes. Oh, they touched. Oh, no.
Oh, maybe they didn't, but certainly Johnson went before they did. Oh, desperate for David Johnson. He'd followed Davey Todd for so long.
Yeah, look at it again. Davey Todd braking, and he's thinking, oh no, he just thought he could dive down the inside. Davey Todd took the racing line as he was meant to do, and David Johnson had nowhere to go except down.
There's a hint, perhaps, we may have to look at this again later, but perhaps Davey Todd may have just slowed up a little bit too much, a little bit too soon. We won't know until later.
Slowest corner on the circuit, though, isn't it?
It is, but maybe David Johnson wasn't expecting him to do it. These four are just slapping each other in the cheeks, aren't they?
Oh, look at them. This is superbike racing, not 600 racing, but you can't tell by watching this quartet.
A lot of movement in Michael Sweeney, so as they get the last lap flag as well. And he should, maybe did he go too soon, Derek Shields? Maybe he should have looked for a little bit more of a toe from Jamie Coward. Perhaps he showed his hand a little bit too soon, and Sweeney might do it to him as Sweeney goes through.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's got more to think about, hasn't he? Because he's got the other two behind him.
Yes.
Never mind waiting, let's get out of here.
Maybe he wanted to do that move before he was mugged himself, but McCormack now trying to get in.
Peter Hickman's magnificent 7, isn't it?
It is, and deservedly so. Lee Johnston pushed him in the 600s. But Peter Hickman is going to take, who's going to take the odds in this one? They should have their own podium themselves, shouldn't they, for this?
Jamie Coward has won this race, I think, if he gets there first. He hasn't been given it, has he? Oh no, look, here comes Derek again.
And don't forget Michael Sweeney.
Michael Sweeney got a great toe before, but I don't think it's going to happen now. I think he's got stuck a little bit too far behind, and he may not be able to slingshot forward now, but I know that Jamie Coward's going to have a go at Derek Shields.
And here is Jamie Coward.
Yep.
Past Derek Shields.
Neat as you like, and speaking of neat, that is the answer, isn't it? Peter Hickman, just so immaculate on a motorcycle.
So, Peter Hickman, it is a record-breaking Ulster Grand Prix in 2019 for Peter Hickman. Across the line he goes. What have we witnessed?
Well, it's history in the making, because it isn't over yet. There's always 2020, but right now Peter Hickman's ridden into the record books, and these boys will be lucky if they don't ride into the hedge.
We can't keep our eyes off this one. Jamie Coward now through on Derek Shields. Jamie Coward is going, and this is for 5th place, ladies and gentlemen. 5th place.
Absolute round of applause for these boys.
Michael Sweeney is looking at Shields, and McCormack was trying to push through as well.
Let's see how that's sorted out. We know 1st, 2nd and 3rd. 4th, Davey Todd. Jamie Coward won that battle from Derek Shields, Michael Sweeney and Brian McCormack.
Oh, what a week. It's been absolutely magical, hasn't it? Honestly, I can't thank the team enough. You know, Smith's Racing have been absolutely faultless. Bikes have been absolutely mega, and yeah, just really happy. Just thank you to everyone. I was sat looking at the bike earlier, just before we went out, and just kind of admiring it, really, thinking how much of a lucky boy I am to be able to ride something of something like that. You know, it's such a beautiful machine that the team have built, and I'm lucky enough to get to ride around places like this, the Ulster Grand Prix, one of the best circuits in the world. So yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Dean Harrison has closed in on Derek Shields in the hunt for the Metzler King of the Roads title, with Peter Hickman now up into 4th position. Peter Hickman has unsurprisingly been named as the Ulster Grand Prix Man of the Meeting for the 3rd year in a row, having officially made the UGP the fastest road race once more.